Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm in a different location, and that is because my animals are sleeping and I really want them to not be interrupted by me going downstairs. Welcome to my living room. If you are returning to watch me again, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. If this is your first time with us meeting though, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Paige Layle. You may know me from TikTok. If you're not doing so already, feel free to check out my TikTok at Paige Layle, and while you're at it, you can follow my Instagram with the same name. I'm autistic, and so over here we talk about autism and stuff, and we have a pretty good time if I do say so myself. I'm sorry for not posting last Friday. Things got really weird. A lot has been kind of going on, of which I hope to maybe share a little bit with you guys later. I'm also autistic and love routines, so it really sucks for me too, and I'm sorry if it sucks for you. Some of you may or may not know, I'm not just autistic. I have a plethora of disorders. Those disorders include ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression. I have a lot of disorders that I don't even care to classify. They just fit into those disorders pretty well. I'm just quite a chemically imbalanced human, and I've been on medication for almost 6 years to the day. Before we get into the rest of the video though, I do want to thank our lovely sponsor for making this video possible, and that is Cerebral. Cerebral is a mental health platform that provides clients with access to ongoing online medication management, therapy, for anxiety, depression, insomnia, etc., all for a flat monthly rate. There's a huge accessibility problem in this whole field, and so I love that Cerebral is all online. You can schedule meetings and visits with your provider completely on your schedule and in the comfort of your own home. They make sure that your therapist and your doctor are constantly in communication so you are getting the best overall care. This also isn't intended to be just one of those quick fixes, but they really work and strive for developing and helping you create a long-term treatment plan. And also, it can cost 3 times less than other traditional therapies. I know for me, it can be really difficult to go into a new space in general or be able to go outside in public to get myself help. It's really important to me that this is an opportunity for me to receive the treatment that I need in my most comfortable space. Sometimes you can see someone in as little as 20 minutes using their instant live visits option. You can start by filling out a short online form, answering a few questions to help them understand what symptoms you're having. From there, you can choose one out of the 3 membership options based on your needs or on your budget. The plans include medication and care counseling, medication and therapy, and therapy. The medication delivers monthly and with free shipping, and these plans include monthly voice calls and unlimited messaging with your care counselor or a licensed therapist. If you'd like to take the next step in working on your mental health, you can click the link in the description, answer the questionnaire, and get connected with a provider right away. Your first month is only $30. Thank you again, Cerebral, for reaching out to me and for giving my followers this awesome opportunity that I really hope that a lot of them can utilize. And without further ado, to our regular scheduled programming. I do just want to give a disclaimer that I am not a medical professional. I've never been to med school. I am not saying that you should or should not take any of these medications. If you are taking medication and you wish to stop, please do not stop before speaking to your doctor and doing things safely. Don't take anything I say as medical advice, please. I'm just a recipient of these medications, and I am not you. We are different people. My necklace is in my sweater. Look at it. So to start off with how I feel about medication in general, I try not to form a strong opinion about it. I give myself permission to not do that. I think that is because I don't enjoy the concept of it. I wish that we lived in a world that could properly socially accommodate us. That being said, not every disorder is only negative because of society. I like to think if I lived in a vacuum, if it was just me, if society didn't exist, no one else existed, would I be okay? And I think that if I could control everything, I would be pretty much okay, except with OCD. OCD just because intrusive thoughts and they make me upset. But intrusive thoughts are one thing that have never gone away for me with medication. They're just thoughts. They're thoughts. Thoughts don't go away. You can't just not think things. So in that way, I go, well, medication is kind of a cop-out for not fixing things in society. But that's not where I am 100%, because I also live in the society and I cannot survive without medication. And also I've never lived anywhere else in any other kind of time or in another human being. So I don't know if even changing things would be okay for my brain. So I don't have a strong opinion. I take it and I try not to think about it. My OCD will make me spiral. I started taking medication in March of 2016 when I was hospitalized for hurting myself. You know, as one does. This was back in the day, back when 15-year-old Paige was really awful all of the time and no one knew why. And no one helped me, and I never had therapy. I never had anyone validate any emotion. No one knew I was autistic. No one even said I had anxiety or anything yet. And so starting, after leaving the hospital, I was on Ciprolex and I also was on Ativan. Ciprolex, the good old OG. I'm pretty sure Ciprolex is like the first one that they prescribe most people with. And Ciprolex, they told me, is for anxiety and OCD. Ativan is a controlled substance. Ativan is also commonly used for anxiety. Sometimes people take Ativan to help them go to sleep. Sometimes people take Ativan to help prevent seizures. Ativan is like a drug. You know what I'm saying? The Ciprolex I was to take every single day, and I took 10 milligrams, I think, at this point in time. And the Ativan I was only to take when I was having a panic attack. Well, funny thing, I had a panic attack maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And so a panic attack and an anxiety attack are different. So when I say panic attack, I mean hyperventilating, sobbing, can't breathe, on the floor, my legs are numb because I've lost oxygen, passing out, making a big ol' scene. If I took an Ativan for every time I felt a panic attack, it would be, at least 20 times a week. When I was prescribed Ativan and the Ciprolex, it was not from my doctor, it was from a psychiatrist at the hospital. And my doctor, who I hate, by the way, he said, don't take the Ativan because you're gonna get addicted to it. And I was like, okay. And so I never got the Ativan refilled, ever. I think I maybe took 2 my whole life because I was so scared of being addicted. I do remember, though, them giving me Ativan in the hospital, and it was wonderful. I really wish, honestly, that I could have it prescribed just in case. But my doctor hates me and I don't like him either. But let's get started with the Ciprolex. So I was on 10 milligrams, which I believe is the lowest dose, and it's the lowest dose that I should have been on because we ended up increasing it later on. But for the first 6 months, I was a zombie. The day after, when I woke up, everything was morphing like this. And I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, everything's moving. It was like the world was breathing. It was like a trip. As someone who has taken recreational drugs as well, just whatever, I've never, ever felt like that before. And I felt like that for 6 months. I go to therapy. My therapist was like, let's meditate. Couldn't meditate because when I closed my eyes, everything moved even more. It was awful. It was horrendous. And I was in such a depressive state too, that both of those things mixed together. For that whole 6 months, I've got complete memory loss. Couldn't tell you what happened. Anytime I thought I was getting stressed or started to get stressed, boom, knocked out. Zombie. So every time the doctor called me and was like, how do you feel? Should we increase it? I'm like, no. This sucks, man. But I'm 15. I don't know anything about medication. And my parents, sorry, Mom, I know you're watching this, but my parents really kind of sucked in this department as well. So I stayed on Ciprolex for a few years and I never felt any better. We even increased it up to 20 milligrams because I'm like, I'm not feeling good. And he's like, here's more. And I'm like, okay. Never helped. I remember going to the hospital again and talking to a nurse there who said, this is the drug you're supposed to be on because it's a drug also for OCD if you have OCD. And I'm like, interesting. I'm not diagnosed with OCD, so what a cool thing to be saying right now. I think I was on Ciprolex from the age 15 until I was 18, 19. And I will tell you now one thing, ever since this whole medication journey started, first of all, if I'm really tired or if I'm like just waking up from a sleep or from a nap especially, my pupils humongous. Everyone thinks I'm high. When we didn't know that this was a thing, my father, who hates me, I think, and sucks, woke me up one time in the middle of the night, and he also was quite drunk, and he started flipping out and yelling at me. He didn't yell at me, he yelled at me through my mom because he doesn't acknowledge that I'm a person. And he was like, she's stoned. Look how stoned she is. She's stoned out of her mind. And I'm like, what? I'm 15 and it's 2 in the morning. What are you saying I'm stoned? And he's like, she's lying, Tracy. She's lying to you. She's manipulating you. And I'm like, what the fuck? And the other constant side effect that I get ever since starting medication, any medication, have you guys ever heard of Alice in Wonderland syndrome? You know how in Alice in Wonderland, there are things that are like, drink me, and she grows and then she shrinks and she like changes size. Alice in Wonderland syndrome is that. It's the feeling that you are constantly changing size and proportion. Your proprioception is not correct. Now, I don't consider myself having Alice in Wonderland syndrome, and that is because it only happens when I close my eye. I feel like right now I am growing to be 50 feet tall, and I'm really skinny, and I'm taller than everything, and then it changes, and then I'll get like really fat and really wide and short, and then I'll get really small, and I'm like, I'm in the corner of the bed right now. Oh, I'm standing on the roof. I have to constantly be opening my eyes to be like, this is where your body is, this is where you are right now. And I often will also like sleep cuddled in, touching myself as also a reminder of this is where your body is. You don't need to freak out. All of this started when I was on Ciprolex, but thankfully the breathing of the earth doesn't happen. I think I remember it happening like a few weeks ago randomly, and I'm like, what the heck? What is that about? The walls are breathing again, Mom. I don't know. So Ciprolex was not the boy for me. Ciprolex and I had to break up. Taking my laptop out, I put this Attack on Titan sticker Can you guys see? It says my husband. It's Levi. 2 episodes left, children. Well, actually, by the time this is posted, there will only be 1 episode left. Oh my god. Sertraline. Sertraline is Zoloft. One thing about Ciprolex and sertraline, why I went on to sertraline next, is because they are both SSRIs. SSRIs are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. In layman's terms, hopefully, when neurons fire chemicals at other neurons, not all of them are going to reach that neuron. And so then the ones that don't are taken back up. So a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor means that there are things that latch on to different channels in that neuron that prevent the serotonin from coming back up into this neuron, which means that there is a greater likelihood that more serotonin is going to be pushed to the next neuron. So typically you start with SSRIs, and if that doesn't work, you kind of make it down the list. That's the fun thing about psychology. You're pretty much a guinea pig, and it's trial and error, and you hate your life. Sertraline was probably one of my least favorites because it gave me the worst heartburn ever in the world. I think I was on it for maybe a year. I remember though that it was a July when I stopped. In that July, I remember I was taking my sertraline. I think I was on 75 milligrams, and then I was on 150 at some point. I remember the little pills, little orange boys. And I had heartburn so bad that I started throwing up nothing, and it just burned, and I was just in the toilet and it burned, and then I passed out on the floor because of the pain. I hate these. I quit cold turkey, which don't do. And I was not about to talk to my doctor because I hate him and he hates me. And I had withdrawals for a week-ish that I could physically feel. And I was like, wow, you know what? I've been on medication for so many years continuously. Maybe I'm fine. I'm not the same person I was when I was 15. Maybe everything's fine. I've learned a lot. I've been to therapy for all these years. I was diagnosed with 18 different things. So maybe I don't need meds. Maybe I'm okay. That went on until November when my family and friends and everyone who has ever loved me all hated me. And I was like, no, because at this point I was so depressed too. I don't even want medication. This is who I am. My mom's like, well, nope, that's not going to work because who you are right now is actively suicidal. So I think for the first time in all of those years, I felt like I was 15 again. Well, that makes sense, Paige, because you weren't on medication. I remember feeling really defeated, though, because I really thought that I was better. And it turns out that I am a chemically imbalanced human being. My doctor was like, okay, well, SSRIs may not be your thing. Maybe let's try SNRIs, which is norepinephrine instead of serotonin. I might as well try everything, right? And say I tried everything and feel confident in knowing I tried everything. And then I was on this med till now. And what the friggin' frack is it? Why am I an idiot? Venlafaxine, that's my baby. Effexor. I'm like, this isn't the vibe. Like, it's fine, but I'm still not good. And that was the other thing. My doctor, I don't like him. How many times can I say that? Take a shot every time I say I don't like my doctor. He'd always say mood disorders. Your mood disorders. And I'd always say, like, what mood disorders? And he's like, depression. I'm like, dude, the only symptom of depression I have is that I try to unalive myself constantly. But I don't do that because I'm depressed. I'm so anxious that I just want things to stop. And the only way that things can stop is if I scoot out of here. My brain goes too fast and everything is hard and everything's too much and I need it to stop. I had an autism diagnosis. None of the diagnoses were from him. When Macy, like getting her as a service dog, you just need a note from your doctor. And he wrote for her mood disorders. And I'm like, I'm autistic, bro, and I don't have any mood disorder. And here we were at 20, got into a really, really bad place again, and I had to speak to my doctor quite frequently. I got into a really bad place, and I told my therapist about how I almost hurt myself one night. She called my doctor and my mother, at which time, speaking to my doctor with my mom here, I was here, and I was 21, and I was screaming and crying, and this wasn't too long ago. This was the beginning of winter, I believe. I said to him, dude, I have ADHD. Why am I not on ADHD meds? And he's like, no, you're fine. And I finally, for one time in my life, said, shut up, let me talk to you about who I am. You have no idea. I told him about how I'm not depressed, all of the things that I'm feeling, and how anxiety and depression are ADHD related. My main thing is every single thing feels like hard work, and I'm always going to have to do things. So anyway, finally, my doctor was like, cool, well, let's get you in touch with a psychiatrist for the first time since you were 15, because he said, I'm not prescribing you with narcotics because you can actually fuck yourself. We'll also start you with Wellbutrin. I was only on her for like a few weeks as well as the venlafaxine, and I didn't find too much of a difference. But what I did find a difference, Vyvanse. Vyvanse is the first and only ADHD medication that I have been on. And then I also take Seroquel at night to help me go to sleep. But Vyvanse has been such a help. I started with 10 milligrams, now I'm on 20 milligrams. I did a lot of research about different ADHD medications, which are narcotics, by the way, because they release dopamine, which is addictive. That's where like all addictions come from, is the dopamine rush. I knew that it was going to make me feel like I could do anything. And so I prepared for that. And for the first week and a bit, I was doing everything. I was ripping. I wanted to do things. I wanted to do the tasks, and tasks that usually it took me so much planning to do, I was just getting up and doing them. And I also, because I was so ready and good and could do things, I was writing so many lists to myself when I kind of leveled out, because I had the energy to, okay, I'll help out myself in the future when this isn't as amazing as it is right now. Steps for everything that I knew was going to help me more when I was not Superman anymore. And in this Superman stage, I had some of my friends say to me, like, maybe you are bipolar, maybe you are manic. And I was like, no, what am I doing? I'm being a human being. I get up and clean the kitty litter. I shower. I do the dishes. Maybe I'm okay for the first time. I will say that usually with ADHD medication, it's to like chill you out. I seem a lot less chilled out to everyone else apparently, but my brain is so much more slow, which is so good for me. I've always just wanted to be more stupid. I've always wanted things to slow down a little bit. It's not 50,000 things bouncing off my brain at once. It's like just a few. And what that looks like on the outside, it's me doing more things because it's not as scary and loud. It's not 50,000 things happening where I can't do anything and I just sit here like this because I'm trapped, because everything's happening and I can't focus on one thing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for that. Like, it's so weird because I'm not spectacular. There's still lots of things that I can't do, but I'm also doing a lot of therapy to accept those things about myself. Like, I bathe my bed. ADHD medication are amazing. My brain slows down and it's so good. It's so good. So yeah, every day I take 5 pills in the morning and 2 at night. ADHD medication, like, they're all derivatives of meth. So weird. They're like, hey, you have fast brain disorder. We're gonna call it an attention thing and give you meth. I joke with my friends and I go, oh, my meth, I gotta go take my meth. So that's my medication history. I don't know if I'm gonna stop here or if I'm going to have more or change more. I'm going to change and grow as a human being, and so there's no guarantee that this will be static. Whether it be medication, therapy, age and maturity and development, or a combination of all things, this is the healthiest I've ever been mentally and emotionally, for sure. And given my 4-month hiatus from all medication and seeing how I was even then compared to now, I need medication to survive. So thank you guys for sitting here today and watching today's video with me. Thank you again to Cerebral for sponsoring today's video. And again, remember that I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just a gal who has a chemical imbalance or 7. And I would love to hear what you guys think and feel about different drugs. How are they affecting you? Peace out, guys. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great life. Thank you for being here and thank you for learning. And I will talk to you later. Bye.